Welcome to Movie Recaps with Brian. Subscribe below for daily recaps. Today we're recapping Ick, directed by Joseph Kahn. Hank Wallace, actor Brandon Routh, the pride of Eastbrook High, is the star quarterback destined for a college scholarship and possibly the NFL. During a pivotal game, he takes a devastating tackle. The crowd gasps not only at Hank's fractured leg, but also at the strange, mossy substance coating the field afterward. Locals have already given it a nickname, the Ick, a creeping plant-like fungus that's been spreading across sidewalks, woods, and drainage pipes for years. It's written off as a harmless quirk of the region, something everyone learns to live with. For Hank, though, it symbolizes the death of his future. He loses his scholarship, his girlfriend Stacy leaves him for clean-cut classmate Ted Kim, and he never leaves Eastbrook. Hank is now a disillusioned biology teacher at Eastbrook High, teaching students who don't care about science or his long-lost dreams. Ted, actor Peter Wong, meanwhile, has become the town's most successful realtor with Stacy, actor Mena Suvare, as his wife and business partner. Their teenage daughter Grace, actor Melina Polly Weissman, is one of Hank's students, bright, outspoken, and quietly alienated from her parents' picture-perfect image. Hank, lonely and bitter, buys a failing bar from Ted and Stacy in a half-hearted attempt to reclaim purpose. While going through Grace's assignment for class, a basic DNA experiment involving saliva, Hank notices a resemblance that unsettles him. A suspicion creeps in. Grace may actually be his daughter. He holds on to her saliva sample and quietly prepares to run a paternity test. Hank begins noticing the ick acting strangely. It seems to twitch, creep, and pulse when the lights are dim. One night, it invades his bar, growing rapidly up walls and across the floor. Hank only survives by accident, wearing a UV therapy mask for an old sports injury which halts the ick's growth. Through frantic late-night research, Hank connects the dots. The ick grows aggressively in darkness but stagnates under UV or sunlight, photosynthesizing rather than spreading. At a high school party, Hank arrives to warn the students, only to be laughed off as the drunk ex-jock turned sad teacher. But as the lights flicker out, the ick floods the house, wrapping around terrified teenagers. Some are suffocated, some absorbed. Hank barely escapes as soldiers storm in with floodlights and flamethrowers. Their commander issues grim orders at a town meeting. Stay indoors. Avoid the dark. Eastbrook is low priority. Help won't come anytime soon. Most residents ignore the warning. Bars stay open. Families still gather. Teenagers plan for prom as if nothing happened. Denial is easier than panic, but infections spread. People disappear. Some re-emerge, walking hosts riddled with vines beneath their skin. Grace, frustrated with her boyfriend Dylan, actor Harrison Cohn, accepts a ride from Hank. Their car is overturned in an ick attack. While waiting for a tow, Grace discovers the envelope with her DNA sample inside. Furious, she accuses Hank of being a coward who abandoned her and her mother years ago, vowing that a test result won't make him her father. The next night, Hank confronts Stacy privately. He pleads for the truth. Stacy, conflicted, admits she isn't entirely sure who Grace's father is. Their affair all those years ago was brief, but meaningful. Before they can say more, the ground splits open. Stacy is swallowed by the ick, screaming as Hank watches helplessly. Prom night becomes a massacre. Despite Hank's desperate warnings, the students dress up and dance beneath balloons and dimmed lights. Soon, the ick crashes in, seeping through gym floors, exploding out of walls. Ted, chaperoning in a tuxedo, is dragged down and consumed. Grace's boyfriend Dylan becomes a puppet for the ick, forcing Hank to fight him off before escaping with Grace, her best friend Heather, and classmate Griffin. The survivors lure the ick to the football field, activating the powerful stadium floodlights. For a brief moment, the monster is revealed in full. A towering, root-tangled behemoth, its limbs like tendrils of ivy, its body pulsing with stolen life. The lights halt its growth, but the ground collapses as it tunnels underground, toppling the towers. With sunrise approaching, the last survivors climb a radio tower, dozens of panicked students scrambling up the ladders. The ick coils around them, dragging many screaming into the soil. Only Hank, Grace, Heather, and Griffin reach the top. As dawn breaks, the sunlight finally halts the creature's spread. For now. Weeks later, Eastbrook adapts. UV lamps are strung across porches. Streets are patrolled by volunteer watchmen with floodlights. People act as if life has returned to normal, though scars linger. Hank and Grace sit together at the bar, mail in hand. Grace confesses she went ahead with the DNA test despite her anger. She wants to know. They open the envelope together. Their faces drop, not in joy, not in despair, but in unease. The answer, whatever it is, brings no comfort. Outside, the town hums under artificial light, shadows stretching just beyond the glow. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe below to watch more movie recaps with Brian. Watch the full movie on your streaming sites and comment below which movie you'd like to see recapped next.